Welcome to the Master of Art and Learning Experience Design, or MALXD, virtual information session. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us today. First, we'd like to get to know you if you're up for engaging. We also realize some of you, this is the start of your day, the middle of your day, or the end of your day, and you might not be up for it, and that's okay too. But if you'd like to, we'd love to get to know a bit about you. So please feel free to share your name, your professional title, and a very hot topic. What is your favorite writing utensil? So you should be able to go ahead and share those in the chat if you'd like to. So I'll just leave a brief moment for you to do that if you'd like to. So, I am Candace Robertson, and I am the Assistant Director of Student Experience and Outreach for the MALXD program. My pronouns are she, her, and in my role, one of my favorite parts of my job is that I get the opportunity to advise all of our incredible MALXD learners. I have brown hair and wear glasses. And then I work with these lovely human beings, educators and designers. In the photos, we have Heather Williamson, who you'll work with on your application process, Brittany Dillman, who is our graduate certificate programs director, and then Liz Bolt, who is our overall MALXD program director. We've had some questions come in with your registrations, and we've included those throughout our presentation. If any new questions come up, or if you want further clarification on anything that I share, please feel free to use the chat or the Q&A to ask those questions. Um, I should also note a felt tip marker is my favorite writing utensil. So now we all know. So our team is comprised of a bunch of wonderful humans. And we also need to situate ourselves in our work so that you can best understand us as educators and designers. We acknowledge our individual privileges and we actively work against those and against the implicit bias that comes with that and the oppressive structures that impact our educational institutions and society. We're humbled to do this critical work that's required to improve learning experiences and environments for all learners. To ensure we capture the diversity of perspectives and experiences of our learners, we have a student advisory board of MALXD learners and critical thought partners from the industry. And they're all amazing humans. And we also utilize our knowledge of societal structures and practices in the field to lead in these ways. And I'm going to drop into the chat a link to our team page, which you will be able to access information about us, and then also our student representatives and our student advisory board and our critical thought partners, who we are just so extremely grateful for. So, a little bit about MALXD. The MALXD program provides a critical lens of equity, accessibility, and social justice in human-centered learning and design. MALXD graduates will become leaders in the thoughtful consideration and examination of issues that impact learners as unique individuals and will create well-informed, playful, and powerful learning design solutions. A question that came in is, will we learn about generative AI through the MALXD program? And the answer is yes. Our course content and your assignments, which we call designs, because we are going to have you design in our learning experience design program, um, will use and allow you to use and create with generative AI. And we provide all of the supports necessary for that and the structures to let you know how and when it's appropriate to do that. And then we also, I would say more importantly, are going to explore those ethical and environmental impacts of generative AI and leveraging those in our learning spaces and what all of the implications and possible implications are. So, getting to know our MALXD learners, we know that there are so many aspects of your identity and responsibility areas within your life. Our learners are multifaceted, multi-involved professionals, learners, partners, parents, possibly members of rich cultural and organizations. And so we really acknowledge all of those facets of your identity, and we bring those into the course and leverage them in powerful ways to support you as a designer. And in human-centered ways. We're always designing, thinking about all of the things that are competing for your time and energy, and all of those things that are important to you. So we have experienced designers in our program, and we have individuals who are completely new to the field and are maybe looking to enter the field and or do some career transitioning. And whether you are experienced or entering, we are the right fit for you because we expect all levels and we've designed for all levels within our courses. A question that came in was, who is your primary target audience for MALXD? And we really envision MALXD learners to be designers of adult learning experiences. You may be in a corporate role, higher education, nonprofit, training and development, healthcare, human services, museum educators, and more. You also might not be in an instructional design or learning experience design position yet. And we're here to help you, and we're here to help you prepare for that too. We've been really intentional in designing for knowing who our audience is, and we've also extended that with this last cohort. We've had actually many K-12 educators come through who are looking at designing specifically for other educators and doing trainings and professional development. So I would just really re-emphasize the focus is on providing for adult learners. Another question we received is, can international students take part in this program? Yes, absolutely. We would love for you to join us as an international student. Something important to note is that because we are a fully online program, we are not eligible to offer F1 or J1 visas. So that's just important to keep in mind if that is something that you are looking for. We know a graduate degree is a large investment in your professional and personal future. And so we like to cover the tuition rates right up front. In the College of Education at Michigan State University, the tuition per credit hour is $933. Then there are 30 credit hours total in the MALXD program. So that means that the total tuition cost is 27,990 USD. And then a question that came in, and this is the best question to be asking, is what are the scholarship opportunities? So we have buttons on this page that have a magnifying lens next to them, and that will take you to curated funding opportunities that we have gathered together for you to help you with your search. And then also an employer information sheet if tuition reimbursement is a possibility for your employer. So that is there for you as resources. Those are buttons that are clickable. And then we also have, and we're also excited to be offering, we've secured funding to be able to offer a Learner Insight Fellowship. So we have 10 $1,000 fellowships that we're able to award to our students based on first come, first serve admission, and then filling out that application, that very brief application for that fellowship. And as a part of our Learner Insight Fellowship, at 3 times during the year, you will provide feedback on your course experience. And so we're really excited to be able to offer that as a support for your tuition. If there's any other scholarship or fellowship or tuition reimbursement program that you find that you're eligible for, as your advisor, I would be more than delighted to be your recommender. I'm the recommender for all of our students when they are going up for scholarships and things of that nature. So I write a snazzy letter of recommendation and have really honed my craft on that. And so I'm happy to help you in any way. Sometimes employers need letters or things of that nature. or fact sheets or information, and I will get you absolutely anything that I can to be able to support that reduction of the tuition cost. So now let's do some program overviews of MALXD. So in MALXD, you have 10 online asynchronous courses. And I think with emergency remote teaching during the pandemic and kind of some misconceptions that have come out of online and asynchronous courses, it's important to touch base on what we mean by that. And what we mean by that is that you'll have 10 courses that run for a duration, the semester in mostly all cases, so a full 16 weeks. And then you will be submitting items on due dates. So in most of our courses, instructors open up each unit for about 2 weeks or every other week so that you can go in and access the content and materials, and then also be scaffolded with due dates so that you are setting aside the time necessary to really support your learning and support that focus that is required. So you'll have due dates. You will have access to content over a period of time, and then, of course, as the course continues, you'll have access to all of the material. And then within those courses, you will have optional synchronous Zoom sessions, like a 30-minute maybe per unit, or maybe it's 3 to 5 times throughout the course. For those of you who do want some face-to-face time and some shared space to really examine with humans in real time. And in each of our courses, we have asynchronous chat opportunities that are more, I would say, informal than formal spaces that you might be used to, which hopefully supports your ability to actually ask the questions you need to ask. We really try to just be humans who are designing for and teaching other humans. So we try to show up in the best way we can to these spaces and create an atmosphere where you're really going to be able to ask what you need to ask to get the most out of your learning. And you'll be highly supported in that experience from your instructor. And then, as a part of those 10 courses, so in taking those 10 courses, you're going to earn 3 stackable graduate certificates and then 1 master's degree in the culmination of that. A question that came in is there an advisor assigned to the program, or is it to each student? So I, in my role, get to serve as the advisor to you, and I work closely with you to support your successes and any challenges that arise because life totally happens when you are in graduate school. We have really seen it all. And you can meet with me at any time. I'll share my Calendly link at the end of this, but we can meet one on one at any time. And then I'll also reach out to you as well. Because it is a cohort model, we'll also do some cohort Zoom orientations and gatherings at the beginning of the year as well. So you will have support both in a group setting and in an individual setting. And then your instructor is also going to be an amazing asset and resource to you as your courses, as you go through your courses and you have different instructors. And then another question that came in was, is it possible to work full time while engaging with the program? And what resources are available for people who are working or teaching full time to receive help? So, yes, courses are designed with it in mind that you are likely going to be a working professional. We expect that most, if not all, of our learners are working full time. A 3 credit master's course at MSU is expected to take 9 hours of engagement per week. So, with taking 2 courses per semester, and we'll kind of map that out for you in this next sections, you will be expected to spend 18 hours per week if you're taking those 2 courses per semester. So that's kind of nice to plan, like, what might my fall look like as a learner in the MALXD program. It's going to look like about 18 hours a week of work for you to complete those 2 courses. In some cases, we have had people who have tuition reimbursement benefits and they want to take 1 course at a time so that they can slow down and maximize those benefits. And absolutely, we can make that happen too. And then your instructor and me as your advisor are going to be the supports for you. Your instructor is going to get to know you so well, just like I am. And they're going to check in at the beginning of the semester. What are your needs? What is, life and work like right now? What periods of time might be your busiest? How can I best support you through that? So they're going to do all of that to make sure that you know that you're supported, and then they're going to actually take action and make sure that you are supported throughout the course, just like I will. And then we have a few different ways to think to kind of visualize what this 10 course experience looks like. So this is kind of in the the stackable graduate certificate view of things. So you have a graduate certificate in learning sciences that you earn, a graduate certificate in learning design, a graduate certificate in learning design leadership, and then that final course is a capstone seminar. And one of the questions that came in was, is the capstone seminar kind of portfolio based, or is it data based or thesis based? And so how it works in MALXD is that you're going to create a website in your very first semester. You're going to be building that portfolio website throughout your time in the program. And in the final course, you're really going to reflect and synthesize on your experiences through that portfolio. And you are going to then use it, you're going to refine it to position yourself as a leader in learning experience design for any potential career transitions, and to really look at who you are as a learning experience design leader. So it's all portfolio based. There is no thesis. Um, there are no quizzes throughout your experience, which I think is also a nice note to make. We're really based on taking that theory and translating it directly to practice so that you are creating real applicable artifacts that are going to support not only your learning and your connections to that learning, but also your potential for career opportunities down the line. And then here is another way to um, explore what that course sequence looks like. So this is a table on your screen that gives you a column of the semester, the courses, and then the credential that is earned. So you'll notice that there's 5 semesters, 5 consecutive semesters, and that if you started in fall 2025, you'll be graduating in spring 2027. On that page, is a courses page that is linked in the button as well that you can explore. And that gives you descriptions of all of our courses that you'll be taking. Now, it is important to note that the College of Education is actively updating everyone's websites today. So if you click onto our website at any point in the next 2 days, just give it a moment because they are launching a brand new website for all of the college's programs. And I promise that if there are broken links, they will be fixed pretty soon. It is just that they are turning it over as we speak. And then what about the learning experience in a learning experience design program? Well, I can tell you that Brittany, Liz, and myself have spent a lot of time thinking about how we design as we've been doing the curriculum development, and we've been having so much fun with it because it is really cool to design for people who are looking to or are designing, because your metacognition and what you're thinking about just gets so deep when you think about all the choices that you are making. So as a part of that, we wanted to really capture like what is really essential and important to us as a part of your entire learning experience. And so we have some images that are on the screen that are kind of some drawings of stick figures, and they outline this experience that we are building and that we've built. So we want to connect you with a dynamic community upon admission to the program. I want to make sure that you feel that your unique learner needs and professional context are understood. We want to provide experiences, learning experiences that are inclusive, anti-racist, and accessible. We want to help you spark ideas through creative and playful pedagogical approaches. And then you'll earn graduate certificates as key milestones throughout the program experience. You'll critically evaluate frameworks, theories, and technologies. You'll design relevant artifacts. You'll iterate and you'll build this professional portfolio. And you'll graduate with your MALXD degree, which will be here before we know it. It goes so fast, actually. And then a question came up, what is the market for learning experience design currently. So the market is good, and the degree gives you the ability for different levels and different types of roles and a lot of flexibility in where you have the ability to work. So we have people who are currently working in MLXD at nonprofits, people who are working in the corporate sector, higher education. We have people in K-12 settings. We have people who are working for educational technology companies. We have people who are working for the state in different ways and developing training and facilitating things. We have people who are working in campus life at universities. So there is quite a range. And then what title wise it prepares you for is either, and we talked about kind of at the beginning, is that entry point to instructional design or learning experience design. And then once you have that experience, because if you're just entering the field, a lot of times some of the positions that you might find will require 3 years of experience or things like that. And so we're going to help you build some of that experience. But once you have that experience and the degree, you'll be able to apply for leadership positions. So the learning and development managers, chief learning officers at organizations, the VP of training, education managers, learning managers. You'll also find that like learning experience designers go up in levels. So you might have a senior learning experience designer or a level two designer. So that will continue to qualify you with the master's and with the experience that you'll continue to gain in the field. And then on the screen are three images that have some hands using manipulatives to design a stick figure, and then surrounded by a lot of patterns, um, and then two laptops and some post-it notes. And the reason why I am describing those images to you is a part of our accessibility practice. So when is the application due? It is due July 1st. And in terms of that, I like to say apply early, plan early. We have rolling admissions actually, so you can apply anytime before July 1st. And if you're able to apply before that, that increases your odds of being someone who can get one of those the learner insight fellowships that we're offering. So if you apply once your materials are complete, your application will be reviewed within a week, and then you can start preparing for what is fall going to be like. As a part of your application, I realize it feels like a lot of things, but I do promise it is not as daunting as what it may seem. You're going to turn in three professional reference names. So you'll have a name and an email. They're going to be notified and they can submit a letter of reference for you. There's also a text box that they can just type into. My recommendation is to pick somebody who is timely, to pick three timely people. That is the part of this application process that actually takes the longest is for your references to submit your actual references. So pick some timely people is my recommendation for that. And then a personal statement, which is three questions. And my recommendation for that, I think applying to graduate school can produce some nervousness. And so people, I think sometimes, and I would be one of these people too, overthink and put so much weight and pressure on this personal statement. This personal statement is essentially, yes, we want to be able to access your writing abilities so that we can mark like, oh, are you going to need help from the writing setter potentially? But really, a lot of it is we want to get to know you because we want to make sure that the investment you're making in a graduate program is going to meet your goals and your needs. And so this is like a two-way street of review here. We want to make sure we're actually going to be able to provide for you what you want out of this. And sometimes we have to say to somebody, "Oh, I think this other program is actually going to serve what you are looking for." And so it allows us to make those recommendations as needed because we want to make sure we're the right fit for you, just like you want to make sure, you're the right fit for us. So I would set a timer for the personal statement. I would write my response to those three questions and I would come back to it. You don't have to prove that you know APA or MLA citation. We're just asking for you to share the three responses. You can do that by just responding to those questions. You can do that through turning it into the full essay. So just know This should not be a mountain. The goal is that we're just getting to know you. Um, and then the university application. And then you need a current CV or resume uploaded and your official transcripts from any degree granting institution. So that is making a request for them to electronically send it to us. On the screen are two buttons that take you to an apply page, which has all of the steps broken down and then also listed there and here are an application checklist if you're a checklist type of person, so that you can track where you are at in all of the processes. And that has all of the information on where to send your official transcripts as well. And then for attending today, you'll receive an application fee waiver. You'll get an email that tells you how to go about that when we send out the recording and the presentation link again. And so you'll submit your application without making any payments, and we'll provide that waiver for you. If there are any other questions, please feel free to ask those in the chat or in the Q&A. You can reach out to us at any point in time as well. You can reach us at malxdegree@msu.edu. And then on the screen are two buttons as well. Heather, our academic program coordinator, who will support you through that admissions process. You can join her open office hours via Zoom on Thursdays, or you can schedule a one-on-one pre-admission advising meeting with me. We're happy to meet with you at any point. We really do want to support you through application to beyond graduation. And so I will stay on Zoom for a bit if you have any other questions that I can help you answer. And I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day.